Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on TikTok, hit me up in the community post, hit me up on MySpace, hit me up on Black Planet, hit me up with a smoke signal, hit me up with a message in the bottle. Any way you can get to me, hit me up. And it's Wednesday, so you already know what that means. It's time for your AEW Dynamite review. And before we get into the review, man, let's get into some good news, man. First things first, big shout out to Will Washington, formerly of Fightful, former wrestling podcaster. Man, you know, announced that he was leaving Fightful last week, but that means something new opened up for him. Man, went out and got himself a new job. You know, he's now official with AEW. He is now the administration coordinator. Big action, big shout out to Will Washington. Speaking of AEW, speaking of big shout outs to AEW, All In from London sold over 45,000 tickets, and those are just the pre-sales. So at this point, man, they're gonna do a really good number. If you're doing 45,000 plus off pre-sales, and there's still tickets left to be sold, it's gonna draw a pretty nice out. So big shout out to AEW, big shout out to Will Washington, and let's get into this Dynamite review, man. And you know, this is what I've been missing. This is what I've been wanting for the past few weeks. All my complaining, all my griping, all my bitching and moaning. And this is finally what I've wanted, man. A really good episode of Dynamite from top to bottom, from beginning to end. I don't really have much to complain about. There is something I'm going to make fun of. But other than that, man, it was a really good show. It was a really good show, and it's official. We finally got it. We're just going to go ahead and jump to the main event, which was the Pillars tag team match between Darby Allin and Jungle Boy, taking on the team of MJF and Sammy Guevara. And before I get into that, man, real quick, Sammy Guevara and MJF came out together. They had a dual theme, and normally it's kind of hit or miss with those mashup themes when they take two people's wrestling themes and kind of just mix them together. But from what I heard, the MJF Sammy Guevara mix, that was pretty hard, man. That went pretty hard. So throughout the night, you saw promos from Darby Allin and Jungle Boy doing the whole "Can they coexist" thing. And then you saw Sammy Guevara and MJF. Sammy was kind of questioning MJF because last week, man, MJF left the boy high and dry, and MJF kind of made this excuse, oh, my back hurts from carrying AEW for so long, so I had to have the whole backseat of my car to myself. And for some reason, Sammy Guevara bought it. So, and then right before the tag team match in the main event, you had MJF talking to Jungle Boy, and Darby walked in on him, and he was like, yo, what's really good? And Jungle Boy tried to play it off, so Darby Allin doesn't trust Jungle Boy. You have some friction going on between Sammy and MJF. How can these four men coexist? How can these two teams coexist? And the moral of the story is Jungle Boy and Darby Allin ended up working together long enough to overcome the odds, to achieve the goal, and that's to get to the main event of Double or Nothing. It's official. The Fatal 4-Way Pillars match is on. And as far as the tag team match goes, it wasn't a whole lot of fun. It was a slight taste of what we're going to get in this Fatal 4-Way match. Overall fun match. You had moments where MJF was kind of getting in the Sammy's face, like, yo, what are you doing? Because you had MJF tagging in behind Sammy's back, trying to get in the match, trying to get all the glory, trying to get the pin, and Sammy wasn't feeling that. You got these two egomaniacs trying to work together. Didn't work out too well, and it led to their downfall. So, like I said, Fatal 4-Way is now official. We finally got the Fatal 4-Way pillar match. And I know the past couple weeks I've been complaining about, oh, why is this taking so long? And I still stand by that. But it is cool that we did finally get to this Fatal 4-Way match. I'm happy. It's official now. Like I said, the rest of AEW was hot. It started off with a 8-man tag team match. You had the Jericho Appreciation Society taking on the new Undisputed Era. I'm just playing. That's not the new Undisputed Era. You had the tag team of Orange Cassidy and Bandito teaming up with the former Diamond Mine leader and Roderick Strong, along with the former leader of the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby. And this was an overall fun match. Orange Cassidy was doing his normal isms and kisms. He had Daniel Garcia out here dancing, doing that weird dance he does. It was kind of weird, but it's kind of funny at the same time. Chris Jericho came out before the match even started, and he had on that ugly ass Britt Baker t-shirt that caused so much controversy over this past weekend, over the fact that Britt Baker has a picture of herself with a black guy that the Outcast gave her a couple weeks ago, and it's caused so much discourse in the community. People were literally right. No, I'm playing. They weren't taking it that far, but people were just blowing this whole thing out of proportion. My whole take is I would not wear that shirt out in public. I wouldn't wear that even if I was going to a wrestling show, but that's just me. But hey, it is what it is. Of course, Chris Jericho got it. Of course, Chris Jericho had it on. I had to get that heel heat, brother. Adam Cole got the win for his team. He hit the boom. Hit the 1, 2, 3. Ran straight after Chris Jericho because he wanted to get hands, feet, paws, baseball bats, whatever he could to get his hands on. Whatever he could do to get his hands on Chris Jericho. These two brawled up the stage, broke the stage, brawled all the way to the back. They had security breaking them up. Britt Baker was yelling and crying and cursing out Chris Jericho. So yeah, man, I'm pretty sure this is leading up to a match between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing. And I'm actually pretty excited to see that. I really wouldn't mind seeing. I'm actually invested in this Chris Jericho feud with Adam Cole. I was nervous. I was hesitant. I wasn't feeling it at first. I was like, oh man, we know how these Chris Jericho feuds go. But it's an overall fun feud so far, so I ain't mad at it. All right, so after this we had a women's match. Willow taking on Saraya, and I got a little lump in the back of my throat because I'm like, oh man, this show is going good so far. I hope we don't revert back to the old ways. And it looked like it was going down that route at first, because you had the Outcast come out, 3 of them. Willow came out by herself. Why? I don't know. It's like y'all don't learn anything. Y'all haven't learned the lessons from the past month and a half of dealing with the Outcast. It's been the same thing. And it looked like it was going down that route again of being the same thing. Saraya got the win. The Outcast started beating a Willow Nightingale. I'm like, oh my God, not this again. And then we hear Hikaru Shida's music hit. We haven't seen Shida in quite some time now. She's been gone for a hot minute. She's running down with the kendo stick, and it's looking like she's gonna join up with the Outcast. And I'm like, yo, this is something different. I didn't expect that. They kind of had me for a little bit, and it looked like Shida was gonna join up with the Outcast and put the beat down on Willow Nightingale. When out of nowhere, Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter pull up out of nowhere, and then they proceed to jump the Outcast along with Shida. So it was all shenanigans. It was all a ruse. It was all the okie doke, the old rope-a-dope. They pulled the okie doke on the Outcast. So now we have Shida involved in the mix. They totally forgot about Willow Nightingale. You saw they put the beat down on the Outcast. Forgot about Willow. Poor Willow. I hope she's okay. But you see Britt Baker and Shida, 2 former rivals, working together. So that was pretty cool. Pretty good character development. Pretty cool to see that. So it's looking like it's going to be those 3 taking on the Outcast. Possibly, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. So next up, we had I forgot what they call it, but it was ultimately a Trios Battle Royal. It was like a Trios de Mayo. I think they call it the Tres de Mayo's Battle Royal, which is pretty much a Trios Battle Royal. And I'm thinking this is setting up a #1 contenders match to take on the House of Black. Before this match took place, you had the House of Black cutting a promo, pretty much saying that you all suck. The House of Black is great. Flip Mode is the greatest. The House of Black is the greatest. I fell and bumped my head, but Flip Mode and the House of Black is the greatest. Blah blah blah. And initially, I was picking the Lucha Brothers with Vikingo to win this match because I wouldn't mind seeing them take on the House of Black. And that wasn't the case. They got eliminated by QT Marshall and QTV. Will Hobbs got eliminated. I wasn't really too happy about that. But that's setting up a 6-man tag for Rampage for them. Okay, whatever. A whole bunch of other teams. I forgot who all was in there. I know the Bush and the Blade and Kip Sabian were in there. The Acclaim with Daddy Ass, Father Ass was in there. The Acclaim ended up winning the trios match or the battle royal, so I'm guessing that they're going to be the number one contender for the trios title, which is, I mean, alright, whatever, it is what it is at this point. I mean, cool. I mean, I still like the Acclaim. I like House of Black, but man, you could have picked another team for this, man. There's a whole bunch of other trios tag teams out there that y'all could have picked. I mean, it's the Acclaim and everyone loves the Acclaim, but y'all could have picked somebody else. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So after this, we had a backstage segment with Don Callis and Kenny Omega, pretty much setting up the steel cage match next week with between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. And Don Callis did a lot of the talking. Kenny Omega said some words. He said he's gonna put hands and feet on Jon Moxley. He's gonna pretty much bring this whole feud to an end. But Don Callis did a majority of the talking, and I still don't trust Don Callis. I feel like he's up to something. I don't know exactly what he's up to, but he's up to something. And also, earlier in the night, you had a promo from the Blackpool Combat Club. And one thing that kind of popped me was when Bryan Daniels was talking, he was saying, oh, the best there is, the best there was, the best there will be. And he pretty much crapped all over Bret Hart. And I started thinking, like, that Owen Hart tournament is coming up. And it would be pretty funny if Bryan Danielson ended up winning in Canada and started talking crap about Bret Hart. That would be some mega monster heel heat. But it was more of the same for the Blackpool Combat Club. Jon Moxley was hyping up the steel cage match as well. I can't wait for the main event next week. I can't wait for the steel cage match. Moxley versus Kenny Omega inside the steel cage. I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I can't wait. Whew. Now, I mentioned something that I was going to make fun of, and it was this match, and that was Wardlow having another squash match. Our TNT champion having another squash match with some dude. I didn't even catch his name. I'm sorry. Squash match, dude. And it went exactly how you thought it would go. Powerbomb Symphony 1, 2, 3. So after the match, Wardlow calls out Luchasaurus. And I'm like, okay, cool. So this squash match was unnecessary. You could have just had Wardlow come out and just call out Luchasaurus from jump. But, whatever. It is what it is. Luchasaurus and Christian Cage come out. And Cage says, hold up, man. That TNT title shot is not going to Luchasaurus. It's going to me. So, yeah, a little interesting turn of events. I'm still waiting for that promo where, Christian references the fact that, Wardlow has a deceased father. You know what's coming. We're all waiting for you, Christian. We believe in you. We know what's coming, Christian. We know you got it in you, man. So that was it. What started off as something that I was kind of like rolling my eyes out, ended up being a pretty cool segment. So hopefully this is leading to Wardlow taking on Christian at Double or Nothing. So next up, we had a segment that I absolutely love. This was hilarious. This was a fun segment. You had Jeff Jarrett and company pulling up to the Briscoe farm, paying old Mark Briscoe a visit. Trying to sweet talk him, trying to butter him up. It seems like. They said, hey, buddy, we were just in the neighborhood. We were out here, and we figured we stopped by the farm. So they ended up, helping Mark Briscoe and the family out on the old Briscoe family farm. Papa Briscoe showed up and was like, yo, what are all these people doing in my house? And Papa Briscoe was talking to Mark. It was like, hey, man, you know you can't trust these dudes, right? They're probably up to something. You got to keep an eye on the goofball with overall. And it was funny because both Sanjay Dutt and I think Satnam Singh had overalls on. You saw Sanjay Dutt in the background just dancing. Jeff Jarrett was playing his guitar, singing songs or whatever. And Mark Briscoe was like, yo, which one? And Papa Briscoe was like, both of them. Right? So that was a pretty cool segment. So I'm thinking this is going to lead to a tag team match between Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal taking on FTR for the tag team titles, because Jay Lethal asked, well, hey man, how did you beat FTR? And Mark Briscoe was like, oh, is that what you're here for? And Jeff Jarrett was like, no, man, let's go do some more farm stuff. So I feel like that's what this is leading up towards. That's what this is leading up to. Some shenanigans between FTR and Double J and Jay Lethal, with Mark Briscoe in the middle. Finally, we had the match between Ricky Starks and Juice Robinson. a match that they say that we've been waiting for, I guess, whatever. I mean, for the most part, it was a fine match. I mean, Juice Robinson and Ricky Starks are both good wrestlers. Ricky Starks ended up winning with the spear, 1, 2, 3. After the match, there was aftermatch shenanigans. Ricky Starks was trying to beat up, or Juice Robinson was trying to beat up Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks ended up beating up Juice Robinson. Jay White got involved. Ricky Starks was trying to put the beat down on him. Both members of the Bullet Club Gold ended up getting out the ring. I don't know where Shawn Spears was. I don't care. I honestly don't care. But it does look like this is setting up a match between Ricky Starks and Jay White at the pay-per-view. Which, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. That should be a pretty good match. Pretty solid match. Pretty solid show. Pretty solid episode of Dynamite, man. No complaints. It was a really good show, man. This is the type of stuff I'm looking for from Dynamite, man. This is the AEW I love. This is the AEW I mess with. This is the AEW I like to watch. This is the AEW I like to talk about, man. I don't like coming up in here ranting and complaining all the time, because it's cool every once in a while, but that's not fun, man. That's lame. There's too many people on this app that do that already. I don't want to be like that, man. I just want to be honest, give my honest critiques, give my honest criticisms. But at the same time, I want to enjoy what I'm watching. I want to enjoy what I'm talking about. With that being said, I got to give this show an honorary W, man. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Be easy. I'm out. Peace.